Brand news in brief now. The Interbrand Top 100 Brands list has revealed 13 of those featured, including coffee giant Starbucks, McDonald's and Microsoft, who've adopted new Twitter-based web profile pages. The new design boasts a layout that allows more user information and looks suspiciously familiar to Facebook's profile pages. Nifty little add-ons like tweets that get bigger according to their popularity, less text-based information and more visual interest are some of the main features. And TV stations have been competing with the second screen for quite some time now. News broadcasters are not exempt and are constantly having to find new ways of hooking viewers. In line with this need for reinvention, CNN has launched an app called Watch CNN X, which will enhance the content already shown on the traditional medium by using the internet. The app takes programs on CNN and adds online capabilities like on-demand video viewing as well as other links. For brands to succeed in a tough global market, it's now necessary to have a robust and challenging relationship with the agency tasked with building and managing the brand. Now, this is no easy task, as you can well imagine, and it's getting a whole lot harder, says Simon Bolton, who's chief executive of the Fitch and Brand Union agencies. He sat down with us in Cape Town recently. The death of the brand as we know it, it's become something of a catchphrase in your industry. Is the brand dead?
Well, if it is dead, then my company's in trouble because we're called the Brand Union. So I have no intention of renaming the company at this moment. I actually don't think the brand is dead. What I really feel is that there's an aspect which is very clear in this whole sort of philosophy, which is, without a doubt, brand as the way we used to know it is definitely dead. You don't have the same controls, you don't have the same sort of conditions around brand building that you used to have, 5-10 years ago. But actually what we tend to talk about these days is reputation. And of course, what we most want is a reputation. So brands definitely are alive and well more than ever. It's just that they are more disposable, they can have a different kind of lifeline, they live and breathe differently.
So, Simon, in order to rise to the challenge of that sustainability that you're talking about, what kind of pressure is it putting on the brand, firstly, and secondly, and perhaps more importantly, the agency?
So I think two good questions there, Jeremy. I think first of all, we're talking about the pressure on the brand, if you like. That is enormous, of course. I mean, all clients are saying, I want my product to be strong, I want it to perform, but I also want the brand to kind of coexist with that, because in the end people remember brands and they're going, this is the reputation that will underpin, the very sort of product quality we're talking about. It could be a service company, it can be a corporate business, it can be, a consumer brand on shelf. And one of the ways in which we're looking at brands now is through a lens called the experience framework. And what we're talking about there is, how do we actually understand the robustness and the resilience of a brand? And this comes through a kind of methodology that we developed in Brand Union, which is called the experience imprint. And this is all based on the thought that the experience of the brand is the brand. So that's why I believe brand is more powerful than ever, because actually what one's talking about is what is the experience and the interaction you have with it.
It's a difficult ask, though, given the vagaries of the market and the attention span, the diminishing attention span of the consumer. That brand experience is changing all the time.
Well, absolutely. So the first thing is you've got to do a diagnostic on the brand. You've got to go, yeah, we're either in a strong position or we're not, or do we want to kind of, strengthen this up? And I think by having the diagnostic right, you can then work out, well, where are you going to spend your valuable marketing dollars? And it's absolutely true for communications, it's true for media investment, it's certainly true for the design piece, because as we're recognizing, consumers are more and more literate when it comes to design, changes in design.
In all of this, you've also become a proponent of the art of storytelling as far as brand development is concerned. What does that mean?
I've come to realize that, being in a design business, you can do lots of pretty pictures, and we have amazingly clever people that can understand what to do, with the different sort of design intricacy. But at the end of the day, one has to have a story, one has to have a vision about what you're trying to do with that brand. And you're right, storytelling is probably one of the core kind of propositions, if you like, of the Brand Union. We're really spending a lot of time going with our clients, what does a brand story look like? And that's as much about envisioning as it is a kind of real moment in time.
It's difficult to do that, to mine the story, though.
mine the story is very difficult. I mean, it's impossible. You can't mine the story. What you've got to do is you've got to create the story. You've got to have that storyline, and then as you're going along, you've got to obviously say, are we on track with that? And you've got to be able to adapt.
Let's move to the business side of the conversation if we can. We've seen the coming together of Fitch and Brand Union. You're sitting on the top of the pile, so to speak. What exactly is the rationale behind that?
First of all, in both positionings, we talk about experience, but when we talk about it in relation to Fitch, it's much more about the physical experience. It's much more about that experience of the journey, the customer journey, that you travel through a space. So it's very spatial. It's a lot about what we call physical and human, and even digital as a kind of a way of thinking of brand on the move and in situation. Brand Union is probably more classically about a 2D view of the world, but we've increasingly worked now to kind of have a much stronger digital presence in our offer. And actually the two businesses come together quite nicely in a term.
It's easy to manage that collaboration dynamic.
Well, and I'm trying to more and more all the time, because what I'm finding is there are some real overlaps, and we've got clients that work with us. I mean, let's take Vodafone, for example, or Vodacom in this market. They have an enormous retail presence, and everything should be about an experience with that brand. And there's a tremendous story here in South Africa about how Vodacom is now sort of developing. It has both a local and a kind of global aspect to its offer, and there's no reason at all why Fitch has been a great servant to Vodacom or Vodafone in developing flagship retail and different environmental experience.
Still to come on Mags on Media, a luxury cognac is changing its brand positioning, and an electrifying kiss from a well-known lip balm brand.
News that moves. ENCA.com.